This is a very grim dream of Saint John Bosco about his Salesian congregation. It's an excellent reminder for us to prepare for a holy death and is perfectly appropriate for this Lenten season. But first, I'd like to give you some advice on the best way to spend Lent from Don Bosco's goodnight talk for his Oratory boys. It totally changed my mindset on Lent and helped me very much. The Miracles and Prophecies of Saint John Bosco, a project of America Needs Fatima. I'm your host, Matthew Miller. Subscribe for new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don Bosco's goodnight talk began, "Tomorrow afternoon we shall go out for a long, pleasant hike." At this, there was a general shout of joy. "This outing, my dearest boys, will give you a break from schoolwork and refresh you physically and mentally, but this mustn't be its only purpose. Whatever benefits the body must also aim at making it more willing to obey the soul, and thus contribute to serving God better. The body must never gain the upper hand over the soul. My dear boys, never let your body rule you. During this remaining half of Lent, mortify it and keep it under control. St. Paul tells us what he did. "I treat my body hard and make it obey me," from the first epistle to the Corinthians. Now, I'm not suggesting the hard penances, long fasts, and scourgings of many saints. Nothing of that sort. Your bodies are still growing, and these things can harm you. But if you'd like me to suggest some penances suited to your age, I'd recommend a fast which you all can carry out to master your heart and senses. Make the devil fast by rejecting sin. Check your external senses. Make your eyes fast. They are the windows through which the devil invades your soul. How can we foil his attempts? By closing these windows when danger approaches. Never allow your eyes to linger on immodest paintings, pictures, or photographs. When you see these things, turn away immediately. Another way to master your eyes is to check your curiosity. Never, but never read irreligious or immoral books which are dangerous for persons your age. As I have already told you time and time again, burn these books when they come into your hands. Give them to your superiors. Rid yourselves quickly of this corruption. You can also mortify your hearing by never stopping to listen to foul talk or to slander against companions or superiors. Force your tongue to fast by forbidding it to utter any word which may cause scandal or hurt other people with curt, degrading remarks. In short, never say anything which you wouldn't dare to say in front of a superior. Mortify your sense of taste by not looking for what pleases your palate. Eat whatever is served, and don't be one of those who are forever striving for choice food and drink. Another way to mortify yourselves is to suffer patiently, heat or cold, or anything else you don't like. Don't say immediately, as some do, "I'll write home for this or that." Unless you really need something, be patient and wait a while. Think it over. Don't rush. Allow no sullenness, sulking, or restlessness. Mortify yourselves by bearing charitably and peacefully your companion's slight faults and the discomforts of your dormitory or classroom. In conclusion, mortify yourselves by not listening, not saying, and not doing anything which isn't exemplary. This way, even little things will become wholesome acts of penance which you all can do. They will help you reach the objective of Lenten fasting. They will help you powerfully to overcome your evil inclinations and gain abundant merits. I have one more recommendation. Receive communion frequently and fervently, and you will be so strengthened by grace that your body will have to obey your soul. Good night. And now on to his mystical visions. Don Bosco had two dreams in September and December of 1884, which revealed many important things to him, just 4 years before his saintly death. The first, which he had on the night of September 29th, was a lesson to priests. He had found himself walking through a plain on his way to Castelnuovo. An old priest, whose name he didn't recall, was walking beside him. Their conversation was about priests. "Work, work, work," they both said. "That should be the purpose and the glory of a priest. Never grow weary of working. How many souls might thereby be saved? How much one could accomplish for the glory of God? If only the missionary were truly a missionary, the pastor truly a pastor. How many miracles of holiness would be shown forth everywhere? But unfortunately, Many are work-shy and prefer their own comforts. As they were talking on this subject, they came to a place known as Filippili. Here, Don Bosco deplored the current scarcity of priests. "It's true that priests are few," the other said, "but if all priests would only act as priests, there would be enough of them. Yet how many priests there are who do nothing for the ministry, whereas if they were to be active in their ministry, they would pass their examinations as confessors. They would fill an immense void within the church. God gives us vocations in keeping with our needs. When clerics were subjected to military draft, everyone was scared, as if no one would ever become a priest. But when these fantastic ideas subsided, we saw that instead of diminishing, the number of vocations were increasing." "What can be done now to increase the number of vocations among boys?" Don Bosco asked. "Nothing more than to safeguard their morality jealously," his companion said. "Morals represent the nursery garden of vocations. Presbyter discat domum regere et sanctificare. The priest must learn to rule and sanctify his house. No greediness, no excessive preoccupation with temporal things. Let a priest first become a model in his own home, and then he will be the first model outside of it." At a certain moment, as they were walking, the other priest asked Don Bosco where he was going. Don Bosco pointed toward Castelnuovo. Then he let the other priest go ahead of him, lingering behind with a group of people. After walking only a few steps, Don Bosco woke up. The second dream concerned the congregation and forewarned against threats that might undermine its existence. More than a dream, this was a theme that recurred in a series of dreams. On the night of December 1st, the cleric Viglietti was abruptly awakened by piercing screams coming from Don Bosco's room. He leapt out of bed immediately and listened. In a voice choked by sobs, Don Bosco was calling, "Oh, help! Help!" Viglietti entered his room at once and asked, "Are you sick, Don Bosco?" "Oh, Viglietti," he said as he woke up. "No, I'm not sick, but I was unable to breathe, you know. That's enough now. Go back to bed and sleep well." Next morning, when Viglietti brought him his usual cup of coffee after Mass, Don Bosco confessed, "Oh, Viglietti, I can't take it anymore. My whole chest is sore from having screamed so much last night. I have been dreaming now for 4 consecutive nights. These dreams force me to scream, and they tire me out. 4 nights ago, I saw a long line of Salesians walking one after the other, every one of them carrying a flagstaff for a sign with a printed number on it. On one, I saw 73, on another, 30, 62 on a third, and so on. When many of them had gone by, the moon appeared in the sky, and at this point, the numbers on the signs were never higher than 12, and behind it, there were many little black dots. All the Salesians that I saw went by and sat down beside an empty grave." This is the explanation of his dream as it was given him. The number on the signs represented the number of years that each of them was to live. The appearance of the moon in different shapes and phases indicated the last month of their existence. The black dots represented the days of the month in which they were to die. He kept on seeing more and more of them, at times standing in groups. These were Salesians who were to die together on the same day. He said that if he were to mention all of the details and circumstances minutely, it would take him at least 10 full days. "I dreamed again 3 nights ago," he continued. "I'll tell you about it in brief. I thought I was in a big hall where many great devils were gathered as though for a convention. They were discussing how they could destroy the Salesian congregation. They looked like lions, tigers, serpents, and other animals, though their appearance was somewhat muddled, looking like human beings almost. They also looked like shadows, now higher, now lower, now smaller, and now taller. But if you'd like to hear about what the devils were saying, please come back Friday because I've totally run out of daylight for this episode. If it's already posted, the video will appear above me here. In the meantime, you can watch this playlist of all the dreams we've covered so far on this channel by clicking on this other link over here. God bless you, and Our Lady keep you.